Guys, welcome to the live stream. Let me know if you're in the room right now and if you can hear my microphone, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to let you look at an article that was sent to me yesterday that's coming out of the Washington Post that you will find very interesting. Welcome to the live stream, Cloud Camper. Let me know if you can hear the audio in the chat, and indeed if you can, we'll go ahead and get started. I want to show you guys this article that came out yesterday in the Washington Post. Trump orders could end Chinese drone sales in the US. It's not a test. This is a brand new thing that's happening. Updated yesterday at 6:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm a little under the weather today, but I wanted to go ahead and get this information out there because I thought it was super important. It was so important to me that I wanted to get in on this yesterday. How's it going, guys? So this week I've been fighting some kind of virus. I don't know what's going on. Start out with a sore throat. We got the summer like cold flu going around, so I may sound a little bit congested, but yeah. So news article yesterday came out and was talking about how there's a new executive order coming out that is gonna be signed on Wednesday, and as of Wednesday we may have a full ban on new Chinese drones being sold in the US. So what would that do to the hobby in general? You know, what's the classification of a drone to lawmakers in Washington? Is this a drone? Like something like this, like a sub 250 little toy? Is this possibly something that could be used for Chinese espionage? If that's the case, then we have millions of items out there that have electronics on them, like IoT devices that are in every single American's home in the US, as well as cell phones that you carry around in your pocket that are constantly listening to you 24/7. So maybe we should have American-made cell phones first before we start banning Chinese drones. But yeah, this is very huge news, Tommy. Very interesting because I haven't seen anyone else in our community talk about this, and I've done a lot of drone news out of Washington, a lot of the legislation over the past 5-10 years on my channel. I've always been kind of a drone news channel as well, and this one, like, we've had this before. We've gone down this road before where we had possible bans happening with DJI. Started out in 2019 with the legislation that came down out of Congress banning and signed by the president, banning federal use of Chinese, or DJI specifically. So since then, in all those years, 6 years, we're still not to a point where we have a full deep dive into DJI's proprietary systems. And apparently, if this executive order, if this executive order goes through, I believe they have a very small window to be able to investigate into whether DJI is actually performing some type of nefarious spying on U.S. citizens. So, you know, they have a small window. They were supposed to have about 12 months, but with this executive order, it would shrink that window down to almost nothing. So this, and in a way, it may force them to go ahead and speed up that process of finding out if their systems are legitimately spying. Now, sources say that there is evidence, but we've never been shown that evidence, right? It's kind of like the JFK thing. We know something weird happened with the JFK thing, but we have new documents, but there's also redactions from that document. So, in a way, there's a big push in Washington to boost American manufacturing, right? So, and a lot of this is stemming from gaining independence from Chinese manufacturing. The problem is that these two economies rely on each other so much that it's going to be the most painful economic transition in history. And when we're already at a place where the economy is not doing super great, and then we're throwing the global economy into a tailspin with threats of tariffs. But things are kind of going up and down. It's kind of like this, you know what I mean? It's kind of like this. So it's like you take a little bit, or you take a lot, and then you give a little bit. You take a lot, and give a little bit. So people's emotions are up and down all over the place. And the thing is it's affecting a lot of the smaller businesses, where the big corporations are getting exemptions, and like Apple Computer, but not the small guys, right? So Main Street America again is feeling the pain of Chinese consumer goods and the tariffs. My cousin recently, she has a salon and like a gift shop. She has women's clothing on one side, salon on the other, and she can't order new dresses for the shop this summer because of the explosive price. When she went to order, they're going to make most of their orders pre-season, right, and have the store all fully stocked, and the prices on the dresses are too expensive for her to reorder. So let me show you what I'm talking about. And this would be really drastically affecting every single FPV company out there overnight, almost, right? Overnight, we would see Beta FPV, Gep RC, companies like that would no longer a FPV company out there be allowed to overnight almost, to sell, right, their drones in the United States. You wouldn't be able to add it to cart. RC, companies like that. That means you wouldn't be able to buy a DJI 04 after Wednesday. That's fucking huge, right? Yeah, the hills have eyes. FPV says it's a national security thing. Can't be dependent on technologies. So, right, we can't be dependent, but we also need to foster and supplement that manufacturing stateside. Kind of going cold turkey, so to speak, is kind of a rough transition for all of the hobby companies out there, and the hobby in general. Like, what's going to happen to race day quads? What's going to happen to Get FPV? The Joshua Bardwell QAV S2, for example, that's made in China. What's going to happen to there it is on the RDQ website? The Sub 250 edition, Joshua Bardwell. This is QAV S2, for example. So that's in the article. That's made in China. It does say that it does talk about new FPV drones. So my guess may be, and this may not be right. But in the article it talks about new models. It does talk about new FPV drones. So new models. My guess may be, and this may not be right. But so what that means is the next version talks about new. It say Joshua's drone or
new models.
It does talk about any other FPV freestyle drones that you buy, tiny wheels or anything like that.
And this may not be right.
You would have to.
So what that means
have
is
it made
stateside.
stateside.
New.
Say Joshua's drone or
new models.
It does talk about any other FPV freestyle
new
drones
models.
that you buy, tiny wheels, anything like that.
No new
DJI
So what that means
have
is
it
what I'm wondering is
does say Joshua's drone. So would that apply to previous any other FPV? Say like the 04, it's already out. Can people still sell that under the new executive order? Would that be something that companies could do? So existing stock, like Race Day Quads has a whole warehouse full of stuff. We've seen prices go all over the place. Get FPV as well. And would they be able to sell their existing stock off until they can get stock of an NDAA American-made FPV drone? Like, so would these companies be able to just go ahead and liquidate what they have? So we still have like tariff pricing impacts and things like that on these websites, and they're trying to let buyers know that this is still a thing. So tariff impact pricing, they're trying to and we've seen the prices go all over the place in the last like couple months. It's gone from this is still a thing. Like, wow, yeah, like tariff impact pricing, double price, and we've seen the prices go all over the place in the last a little bit down, about 30% down. This is still a thing, like, right? We've seen the prices come down about 30%, yeah, like tariff impact pricing, double price, and we've seen the prices go all over the place in the last a little bit down, about 30% down. This is still a thing, like, right? We've seen the prices come down about 30%, yeah, like tariff impact pricing, double price, and we've seen the prices go all over the place in the last a little bit down. Let me check the monitor status. We've seen the prices come down to make sure. Yeah, like double price, and we've seen. Might need to plug in some headphones. Hold on a second. A little bit down. Let me check the monitor status. We've seen the prices come down to make sure. Yeah, like double price, and we've seen. Might need to plug in some headphones. Hold on a second. A little bit down. Let me check the monitor status. We've seen the prices come down to make sure. Yeah, like double price, and we've seen. Might need to plug in some headphones. Hold on a second. A little bit down. Let me check the monitor status. We've seen the prices come down to make sure. Okay, let me know if you still hear any kind of echoes happening. Hopefully not. It means that we have somehow the laptop maybe pulling from the laptop mic as well as my studio mic. But let me know if it clears up. Still hear any kind of echoes. Should clear it up. Hopefully not. It means that we have somehow the laptop. Let's double check this here. Yeah, Trump needs to ban echo for sure. Let's see. Yeah, it could be the let's go ahead and mute the browser audio. Okay, so it sounds good now. Thank God. I don't have anything playing on the browser audio. All right. Yeah, so Elvin says, time to start a U.S. company. So, I mean, we're pretty much going to be left. So I'll just do a quick recap. So, Washington Post article came out yesterday, and I'll show folks this article. And what's happening really quickly, I'm going to go over this in like 30 seconds. There's a new executive order, if you're just tuning in, that Trump is expected to sign on Wednesday. that targets Chinese-made drones, not just DJI, Autel, and possibly even like Beta FPV, Get FPV, not Get FPV, Gep RC, iFlight, companies like that that produce drones and FPV drones. I mean, even smaller toy companies may be affected that make drones out of China. Whatever it is, the classification of the drone is going to be interesting to see. Maybe an RC airplane, if a Chinese RC airplane is considered a drone or not, because it's it's emitting a signal from a receiver. But it talks about Chinese technologies that emit a signal. So here's the thing, right? If it emits a signal, so that classify the I mean, that could, technically it could be an RC car because that emits a signal, right? But what it talks about here is selling new models, okay, in the United States. So the consumer drone market would be drastically affected overnight as of Wednesday. This is gigantic news, and again, I can't believe that some of my other peers in our hobby aren't live streaming, and pretty upset about this because this will change the face of YouTube of what you see right now. So the review market will be almost nothing overnight. You might have 3 reviews a year starting out coming up. So we're going to have to switch gears if they completely ban Chinese-made drones, because that's that's 99% of what you see on YouTube. And there's not enough domestic FPV companies right now making drones. So you do have American made parts and things being produced here, but not at like the volumes that we've seen from China. Like 5-6 years ago on Banggood, we had 5 new quads coming out a week. It was kind of crazy. We had all kinds of stuff to play with. So we're headed towards this Wednesday, and we're really going to have to see what happens with this. But it's definitely going to be a drastic change for the American FPV hobby. And we're at a critical point too in the U.S. where we really need to foster new youth aviation in the FPV hobby, for all types of reasons. Hobby and training our guys in the military. Because that's pretty much a thing all over the world right now. So the article goes on to say the drone order is not just a ban, but it's a blueprint for industrial resilience. To create chipsets and full-on flight controllers and things like that, you need a pretty substantial amount of factories to be able to have the machines that make those. You need to have the engineers. We right now currently we don't have a hobby grade FPV camera. There is some made by Fat Shark that I know Rotor Riot has some that are NDAA. And if you don't know what NDAA is, it just means that it's allowed for, it's been able to be sold in the U.S. and used by the government, but also by you. So essentially it has the stamp of approval that it's has enough parts in that electronic piece that it is deemed as safe to use and operate under the FCC guidelines. And so, FCC, we just had a filing on dronedj.com. Drone DJ has a lot of news here. Sometimes we pull from Drone DJ, and one of the most recent articles that we saw was there was a DJI Mini 5 Pro FCC filing, and unfortunately, if Trump signs through an executive order, this FCC filing doesn't matter. I don't think that it'll actually go through if he signs this executive order. So the Mini 5 Pro may never make it to the United States. And recently with the Mavic, the new Mavic that came out, we don't, orders for those are not. I don't think they're shipping. Let me know, somebody in the chat, if they ordered one and got it. But I don't think they're shipping into the US. And the Goggles 3, you can't buy a pair of Goggles 3 right now. So if I could, I would buy a second pair of Goggles 3 just so that I'd have a pair in case all this goes down. Because I'm telling you, man, the as far as the hobby goes, like the absolute best, hands down, HD digital FPV system out there in the world right now is the DJI 04 and 03s. I need to bribe them. Christopher Conkright says I need to bribe them to stop it. I don't even think Elon Musk could bribe Trump to stop what he's about to do. And Elon Musk is out. Getting back to making cars, because when your business suffers an 80% loss, it's probably time to get back to the desk. The 04, Black Pawn says the 04 is amazing. It's the best. It's the best system in the world. We don't have anything stateside that could compare to that at that price. That type of system in the U.S., if it was U.S. made, it would probably cost you $1,500. So I don't know. You guys ready to pay $1,500 for an HD system to slap on your drone? And I guarantee you, it won't be as plug and play. Right? We're gonna go back to the extreme engineering DIY. I mean, it's not gonna be as bad as 10 years ago in the DIY drone sector. But you're gonna have to read more. You're not gonna just be able to plug this thing in and pop it up to an app, and then and it's gonna work. Christopher Waschenberger says, I work for a U.S. company that made precision tungsten needles for semiconductor industry. We couldn't compete without poverty wages for extremely skilled techs. I fought for $12 an hour for my labor. That's crazy. Panic says, Panic 175 says, I bet 1K you're incorrect about this. So here's the thing. I'm not saying I'm not here telling you that this is what's happening. I'm telling you that this is the article I'm telling you what the article says. This is not what I'm saying. This is what the article. This is the Washington Post. So if you want to argue with somebody, go argue with the Washington Post. We got the trolls in the house. But yeah, I mean, I saw recently a company come out with an FPV drone that's NDAA, and the price on that drone was, I think it was $3,000 or $4,000 but that's also for like government use. So anything in that sector is twice and three times what the hobby version would cost, because it's going to have different technology on there, like thermal and things like that. You guys don't need thermal FPV drones. Yeah, Washington Post is I don't know what to think about this, and it's crazy because to be able to show you guys this article, Washington Post is a pain in the ass. They made me pay $2 for a subscription to be able to open up this article. What a pain in the ass. I can't stand those news agencies that force you into subscription to read the article. It's like New York Times. I don't read the New York Times because there's so much articles out there now today, duplicate articles. Why should I have to pay for a subscription to read an article to find the news? It's ridiculous. And they still have ads on these pages. So it's not like they're not getting their ad revenue in there and subscription price, but that's the American way for capitalism. Should be free articles. That's what the internet's for. Don't make me pay for my information. You get to watch this channel for free. I don't force anybody to pay me. Force you to watch the live stream on the possibility of DJI getting banned by freaking Wednesday. It's crazy. But yeah, this this drone right here, this is the Gap RC Mark V. I've been talking about this drone since it came out. It's my favorite one this year so far. It has the 04 on there, and possibly Wednesday. I don't know if maybe they can still sell this one since it's not classified as a new one. So maybe we can continue on with the stuff that's already been created. Who the freak knows what the crap is really going on? For shit's sakes. Yeah, if anyone else finds a free article about this executive order and the Chinese drone sales, drop it in the chat. Let's give the middle finger to the Washington Post and the New York Times. FPV Addict says he wants a thermal. What for? They're gonna. So some farmers like to track, like farmers down in Texas, they have open season on hogs. So you can shoot as many hogs as you want because they're a problem down there, wild hogs. Some people track them on their farms at night with the thermal camera setups. It may be illegal, but in Texas, I doubt it. Because down in Texas, you're allowed to live a free-ish life. Deregulate. One of these days, I feel like the internet's going to have like an AI live censor. So like certain things that I would say on the internet would automatically like stop me from saying it. Not allowed to talk about the Washington Post. Real-time censoring. Now that's a communist idea. So, who knows? What I mean, what do you? So here's my hope. And I was talking to my partner about this morning. She doesn't know anything about it until I mentioned it. I was sent the article last night about 5 o'clock, and it was one of those weird moments in your career. Like I've been doing this for 11 years on this channel, and I sat in the backyard last night just staring at the backyard and the chickens, and it was like the it reminded me of like the look on George Bush's face when 9/11 happened. So I was sitting there just staring off into space like, and this stare and this thought process was like, where do we go from here? Like what are we gonna do as the American FPV hobby? Where do we go from here? I need somebody to give me about $10 to $20 million to create a factory to where we can pump out bind and flies for the American audience, as good a quality as what we have here, right? But yeah, I was kind of staring off into the void, like, because I was legitimately worried about where all the businesses are going. This is not just about the Drone Camps channel. This is about all of you guys that are pilots, what you have access to buy, are we going to be falling back to an analog system because the domestic HD FPV systems will be extremely expensive? I do have connections with a ton of American manufacturers that are producing FPV chipsets. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you, bro. Flight controllers, ESCs. There are companies that are making flight controllers, ESCs, but I do not know of an analog system yet, like a VTX. We don't know that there's an analog VTX that's available. I'm sure they're going to be working on one very soon, and I feel like that's going to happen. Newbie Drone is a Chinese company. Doug McFeeters asked, if you guys are just tuning in, I will show you this article again. Thanks for the tip, Doug. I'm going to show you this article again. This is Washington Post. I'll just bring it up on the screen for you. This came out yesterday at 6 o'clock. Yay. Executive order, and Washington has been, on the PRC's heels with this. Thank you, Panic 175. I appreciate you, bro. They've been on the Chinese drone manufacturing heels for many, many years. I seem to have aged quite a bit in the past 10 years with all the regulations that are surrounding our hobby. It's like a slow suffocation of all these businesses with the regulations. It reminds me a lot of the commercial fishing sector, to where a lot of my uncles who run charter boats were slowly squeezed out because of bigger interests, larger interests like farm fishing. These mega boats go around and scoop up thousands upon thousands of fish, but they're not allowed to, fish with charter boats or small charter boats. So it's getting harder for them. It's the amount of regulations surrounding those. It's hard to be profitable and take people fishing out like they used to in the 80s and 90s. So there's a lot less boats. But I want to see, on the flip side of this coin, I really would like to see the rise of the American FPV hobby. So if that's a possibility at all, I will put all of the strength I have into creating the American FPV hobby. Every last waking hour I would put into that, and efforts into creating and sustaining the American FPV hobby. But that's what's happening. And that article, Doug, goes on to say that it is could lead. Okay, so here's some other words here. Could lead. So could lead. I'm hoping that, when I was thinking about this last night, that hopefully this is a nothing burger, and that this is just going to fly by on Wednesday, and we're going to go back to just playing with our DJI O4s. But it goes on to say selling new models. So new models. Okay. New models. It doesn't say existing stock. So at this point, if Race Day Quads has existing stock that is Chinese, like the O4 Air units that they bought probably who knows how many units of, invested into that, then maybe they can sell those. Tiny Whoop, $300 Tiny Whoop, somebody said. Don't be surprised. So currently, yeah, somebody said if we can't make an American analog Tiny Whoop, we have no chance. Currently, I don't. So I know a lot of American manufacturers, and currently I don't know that there's a flight controller that's an AIO that's small enough that we sell. That's a NDAA grade tiny whoop flight controller. Now here's some good news. All right, let's talk about some good news. Okay. There is a company out of Virginia. They're going to start manufacturing FPV stuff. Okay. And this company is already established, and there are two guys that are already established, already established in our hobby, that are big league, like heavy hitters, and they know our stuff, and they know what we want, which is awesome. So these two guys are both geniuses in their own right, and we may see them come out with some type of tiny whoop board. So that's some positive stuff right there. That's positive news that there is in fact a manufacturing plant in Virginia that will be producing some FPV stuff, and it's hobby grade. Okay, so that's what we're talking about on this live stream: hobby grade stuff, right? That's what the channel is all about. Sustainment of the hobby. And you guys know, like, my angle for the past 11 years on this channel has always been I've always tried to be a little bit mainstream, because my goal since the beginning of the very first, we called them personal drones, because I wanted to set them apart from like the military type drones, is to get as many people as possible into flying drones as possible. That was my goal: make it as popular as possible, and just be a great general resource that's not too deep in the trenches of tech. Because I'll tell you, I start watching some of these tech videos, man, I'm falling asleep. They bore the crap out of me if they get too techy. Like, that's literally something you could fall asleep at night to. Put on one of those like AI prompt instructional videos on, and just, just oh man, Johnny D. Johnny D said he ordered a set of DJI goggles 3. It turned out it was a fake website. I'm out of $400. Do a chargeback from your bank, Johnny D. Call your bank and do a chargeback today. They'll do a chargeback on that $400. So if you bought it with a credit card, depending on how you purchased it, how you made the transaction, call your bank and do a chargeback. And they'll put the money back in your account and charge the people who did that. Because the customers now have more rights than actually the companies that are taking money. Unfortunately for me as a business, like back when I had a brick and mortar store, people would order a drone and then they would say they didn't get it and do a chargeback, like $1,200. I mean, I had to send the police to people's house to go get the drone that was delivered and signed for. People signed for this stuff. There's documentation through FedEx, that like an UPS, that this person signed for it. It's crazy. But what's gonna happen to race day quads, get FPV? I mean, I'm expecting on Wednesday that as far as sales go, it may actually increase their sales, because you guys may be trying to get the last of the 04 units that are in stock. I know I'm gonna order a couple of them just to have a couple more on hand. Because so here would be the interesting thing. If I have now, let's talk about a loophole. There's always loopholes around any type of trade or commerce, right? So the loophole may be that the Chinese companies have to not have it emit a signal, right? And that means things like receivers, transmitters. So if they send you a bind and fly that you have to add your own receiver on, right? Or like we have these bring your own VTXs. So if you had your own DJI Lite, right, and you had a pile of them, but you could buy just the drone, the flight controller, the motors, and the frame and everything, you're still probably going to be able to get frames. I don't think that frames are not going to be uh, off the table. So we'll still be able to get Chinese frames, and I believe also motors. So we still should be able to get motors, because I don't really think those are on the ban list, the brushless motors. Fiber optic cable style. So maybe that's the loophole. Maybe it's going to be bring your own VTX. So it would be a good plan, and who knows? Wait till Wednesday and see how it affects sales and what's available. Go to the DJI store, and in a way, DJI is possibly, this may help DJI in a way, because it may speed up the process of the evaluation of the DJI systems by the federal government. So they were supposed to do an investigation evaluation over the next 12 months, and maybe this is going to speed that process up to a couple weeks, and giving us the actual skinny on DJI, if there is any type of espionage by DJI, truly. Yeah, Christopher Conkright said this will go to court. Yeah, there's going to be probably all kinds of court cases surrounding this. When Jumby says it's all a ruse, and I'm hoping this is one big fat legislative nothing burger, as we've seen in the past. And the thing is the stock market has been again like this. A news item comes out, stock market dies. A news item comes out, the stock market rises, right? So we have no clue what's really going on, but there is an agenda. There is an agenda. It's clear as day what the agenda is, in Washington. So be prepared for that. That's why I said in the thumbnail, get ready. Because if you love DJI may be on the chopping block, seriously. And maybe the other hobby companies slide through. We could still be able to get a femto bring your own VTX, right? But my suggestion as of this point, and don't do it until Wednesday. Do it when you really know. If somebody closes the floodgates of all DJI in the universe passing through U.S. Customs, I would hop on Amazon, and this is not financial advice, but I would hop on Amazon and get myself a handful of those VTXs, if you have Goggles 3. And apparently Johnny D, man, poor Johnny D, he's been on our channel for years and years, and he's been on analog ever since, and really was wanting to move over to Goggles 3. Hasn't got the Goggles 3 yet, and then he got ripped off. I keep seeing people say taco. On the live stream with Elon Musk's exit yesterday on Friday, people kept saying taco in the live stream. I don't know if it's MSNBC or CNN or where I was watching it, but there's a lot of taco chat. But we will survive. We will. We have to survive. We have to thrive. The FPV hobby in the States, if we're gonna go through a rough patch, fine. I've been here before where I'm thinking, yeah, shit, this is the end. But it's not. Because if I had to pull a frame off my bench over there and just build up a quad for you guys that, I had to solder myself and make you a bind and fly, I would try to keep people flying, even if I had to build them myself for you guys. So yeah, there's also Christopher Conkright says, sounds good till you see FedEx, UPS, factories laying off thousands. There are a ton of layoffs right now, and a lot of those layoffs are coming from the integration of automated systems. So automation, Elon Musk has been talking about automation for a decade, and how automation is going to change a lot of physical labor jobs. Now automation and AI is um, like Amazon, for example. They're automating sorting and things like that. So some of these computers just do a better job, as well as like if I was an accountant right now, I'd be a little bit worried, because I think within a year's time, someone's going to come up with a program or an AI agent that can handle your taxes for you. And it will do it better and more precise than your accountant, and not take months and months to get your crap done and delay you. And every time you call them, hey man, you got my shit done yet? Oh yeah, we're working on it. AI is not gonna to screw you around. It's gonna do the job, right? That's the one benefit of AI versus a person doing any work for you. AI is not gonna screw around with you. Oh yeah, it's almost done. Okay. So now HD0. Let's talk about HD0. Does anybody know that if HD0 now HD0 may be something that we can fall back on. I don't know if HD0 is not. So let's ask AI on ChatGPT. Is HD0 NDAA? Let's see what ChatGPT says about that. No, it is not NDAA compliant. So it's interesting. Wait, this cold flu is kicking my ass, you guys. Been sick now for 4 or 5 days. This is a good one. HD0 is not NDAA compliant. Boo. If you need NDAA compliant alternatives for your drone builds, consider systems like TBS Lucid, H7 flight controller, which is NDAA compliant. So TBS does make NDAA compliant flight controllers. Is there an NDAA compliant HD FPV system? I'm guessing no. It's taken a while to think about that. Yes, there are NDAA compliant HD or components and systems. How much do they cost? Okay, so it's talking about the Aura FPV camera, but the Aura is not. Okay, ChatGPT, you are wrong. Aura is not an HD camera. It's 1200 TBL technically, but yeah, it's analog. It's not HD. What's wrong with you, ChatGPT? So yeah, other systems are like things like Dragonfly. Dragonfly is more expensive than, you have to put a second mortgage on your house to get Dragonfly. And Free Fly, same thing. Free Fly is very expensive. So don't even think about buying a Free Fly Astro. You're looking at like $20,000. Modal AI, same thing. Stinger Vision FPV drone components, that's more for government use and CQB and things like that, and that's extremely expensive. And here again, number 4, TBS Lucid flight controller stack. AI doesn't even realize what an HD FPV system is here. It doesn't look like, because Lucid is a flight controller. It's not an HD FPV system. We're talking about purely a DJI 04 alternative that would be NDAA, which we don't have. So the only fallback we have right now, because you guys are not going to be able to afford Dragonfly, and neither am I. This is hilarious. So it still talks about TBS Lucid, which is not, it supports HD system. Yeah, big deal if we can't buy 04. Modal AI is going to be government type of use. You won't be able to afford that, because that's fully encrypted long-range digital video, which none of you can afford. Free Fly, forget about Free Fly. Too expensive. And the Aura camera is analog. So again, like not the Brave F7, that's a flight controller, that's not the HD system. So currently, ChatGPT, we have no HD system available. Nope. 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 No. We have no HD system. The only possible chance to fly FPV if Chinese drone stuff was banned on Wednesday for sale in the US would be falling back on an analog system. The big question right now in my mind is there even an analog VTX? So let's go back to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is wrong before, so I don't know why I'm returning to ChatGPT, because I know the answer to this. Is there an NDAA 5.8 gigahertz video transmitter available for sale online? It's going to lie to me again. It doesn't know the difference between a flight controller and an HD system. Yes, there are a few NDAA compliant 5.8 video transmitters available for purchase online, though options are limited, of course. VTX is typically designed for professional, industrial, or government applications. So there again, we're falling into the most extreme, expensive systems that none of you guys can afford. And again, we're probably falling into Dragonfly and Modal AI again. Here we go. Modal AI. Google that company. It's none of the stuff we can afford. TCO, all-weather, analog, video transmit, available through videotransmitters.com. Explicitly stated as, so this would be new to me. TCO, anybody heard of this? TCO 5808Q4 all-weather. This is like a trail camera or something. Are we gonna be modding trail cams to fit? Oh my god, what the hell is this? So this is our new video transmitter, you guys. Check us out. As of Wednesday, you'll be using something that weighs 4 pounds on your, and it's only $1,125. Hey, how about that? What a deal. Get two. What a deal. It's pole mountable. Wow. That is outstanding. We are headed in a great direction, you guys. I'm telling you. You could probably decase that. How much do you think it weighs decased? Yes, Windjumby. Red Cat and Rotor Riot make stacks in the US. And if okay, so here's what I know. I'm going to share with you what I know. And this is why you watch this channel. I do know that there is a company in the US, and I can't say who. I don't have any non-disclosures or anything like that with this company or people who are producing this stuff, but I do know that there is a company who is making a Radio Master alternative for you guys with ELRS. So that is good news. When that comes out, we don't know, but it's probably fairly likely to be pretty soon. The other thing that has to be coming down the pipe would be an analog video transmitter falling behind the radio, because that's the other thing we need. We need an NDAA compliant radio. Like, we need an ELRS radio, right? For me, I'll probably stick to TBS, because TBS Crossfire is NDAA, right? But we do need an ELRS radio. I do like my GX12 though. I keep flying. It's around here somewhere. I do keep flying with my GX12 more and more, but I did find a bug with it the other day. I sat it down on the bench and it armed my quad. There's no kickstand on that, and those little tiny switches can hit the strap on the back and arm your quad. NDAA compliant. What does that mean? It means that it can be sold in the US and be used by the federal government. So we'll go back to ChatGPT. I'll give you a full description of what NDAA means in case some of you guys don't know. National Defense Authorization Act. So, yes. So this means no DJI drone equipment for, essentially it's for federal government use, but also falling under state and local, depending on the region. Like Florida has banned DJI, so they have to find NDAA compliant electronics from manufacturers that have that blue UAS certification. So here's the thing. So yeah, Ben Grossman said, product wise, what would Rotor Riot need to do to help the industry? Well, thank God for Rotor Riot. That's all I'm going to say. Thank God for Rotor Riot, because Rotor Riot, Red Cat, I think, is interested in mostly making drones for defense and police and military. So I wouldn't really think about Red Cat, but I would think about Rotor Riot. I would also focus on TBS, and if any way possible, I will also try to create drones for American FPV Hobby that are NDAA acceptable. So if total shit hits the fan, I'm gonna get to work on making that happen for the community. Red Cat is an umbrella. So yeah, Hills Have Eyes says you can pick up DJI equipment on government auction sites due to NDAA compliant laws. Yeah, a friend of mine who's in the police force picked up a couple Matrice, like used Matrice drones, and they're just like sitting out in a shipping container storage on his property, and he just every once in a while, if he needs a drone for anything, he just kind of pulls them out of the box, and the boxes are huge for that drone. They have the arms that fold down, and like they're literally like the case is like this big. It's huge. FLIR, Adam says look at FLIR. FLIR's too expensive. Adam says look at 3DR Robotics. No. I'm not on with I don't think 3DR Robotics is going to save the FPV hobby. Just because I wasn't a fan of their stuff. They're a good company, but I wasn't a fan of their drones when they came out. They also have, you could get for dirt cheap an S900, but then again, you have to have a gigantic battery. And some of the batteries that come with the Matrice drones that are like on the used markets, you guarantee that they've been fairly abused by some of the law enforcement guys because they don't quite know how to handle drone batteries properly. And I'm talking about everything from storage to field use to just hanger rash, throwing them in the back of a vehicle. You're going to expect to have some pretty well abused equipment if you buy a used government drone. So don't it's gonna look weathered. Watch an underground black market drone supply open up. I mean, nah, but it's gonna be interesting. So fasten your seatbelt. I hope it's a nothing burger. Right? I hope it's a nothing burger. Valor Arc Design says our SWAT drone guys crush all of our drone equipment. Damn right they do. They're rough on that stuff. If you buy a former police drone, expect it to look like it was thrown down the side of a mountain. I've seen them. They are very used and abused. So that raises your flyaway risk to about 900%. The flight controller works today, it may not work tomorrow. It may have an inch worth of dust on it from sitting in a police warehouse somewhere as well. But I would like to have a Matrice. God, they're terrifying when they take off, though. They're huge. I don't know if any of you guys have been around a Matrice before, but man, they are huge. They're big. So yeah, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. This is all still hearsay, and you know the tough thing about this is too is that I haven't been able to look at the wording on this executive order. So all we have to go by right now is purely the Washington Post. And who the hell knows if this is not just freaking clickbait. Unless they have some type of insider in DC that's seen the executive order. But again, it does talk about selling new models, upending the consumer drone market. You got that right. If they did an all-out ban on Chinese drones, it would definitely be pretty hard for a lot of people. But again, there might be some type of loophole that you could still get a tiny whoop and just add your own camera on there. But I guarantee you that nobody makes a tiny whoop camera in the United States right now. Because cameras seem to be pretty difficult to manufacture. You have to have a different kind of equipment, high-tech machines to create those cameras. Yeah, Adam says, never mind the Washington Post. Okay, so that was all propaganda. Got it. I fucking hope so. Your photogrammy would die, says Christopher Conkright. So the Hills have FPV says new models are probably just talking about FCC again, who is refusing to certify new products, meaning they can continue to import and sell 04. Right. So stuff that's already been manufactured. So new. The important thing to to see in this article is the word new at the very top, like we talked about before. New models. And technically, if we were to be technical in deciphering this document, the 04 is not a drone. It's not a model. Just so if it's not a drone, like flight controller is not a drone, right? As long as it doesn't have Bluetooth on it, it doesn't emit a signal, right? Now VTX, on the other hand, that falls under the emission of signal phrase. So this is where we are, and we're not going to be able to afford modal AI. We're not going to be able to buy free fly systems. That's all strictly commercial and government grade. It's not hobby grade. FPV addict, you're cracking me up, my guy. Whatever makes you feel good about your life, right? As long as it's not too destructive. Don't overdo it. Everything in moderation. Your props will not be affected by the agenda. No, that's true. I think props and motors still on the table. You'll still be able to buy Gem Fan. Gem Fan is not in any trouble. Because the last I checked, propellers don't emit signals. And it's not technically a drone. And straps and carbon fiber frames and all that stuff. If I wanted to produce a carbon fiber frame out of China, which there are companies that I was looking at, just outsource the frames, you can still do that. They make a very cool sort of knockoff of the Mark series, which is a legitimate freestyle frame. Pretty good bando drone. It's pretty tough. And 3K carbon fiber. I think the newest version even has like the T700 carbon fiber. Ben Grossman said, thought the American Security Act was drones and drone parts, including flight controllers. That's the question. Hills have FPV says, tons of CNC companies who would cut carbon fiber cheaply, getting some polycarbonate cut this week. Cool. Philip 3273 says, man, this is a bad year for me to get back into the FPV hobby. Welcome to the trenches. Welcome to the trenches of possibly going back to the roots of FPV. I talked about this before, how to survive the FPV apocalypse. If there's a trade war, we've already been through this, and we talked about going back to our DIY roots, and I can make tree branches fly, so I'm not too worried about it. I can 3D print. I've got several 3D printers. The show will go on. And if I had been feeling better today, I planned on talking about this while I was doing my my yard work. I have a whole bunch of stuff I'm working on in the backyard. I've always got something going on our mini farm here. It's kind of a little homestead. We're raising some new chicks. A couple weeks ago, before my aunt passed away, I had a second camera over on the chicks over there, and we have like 4 of them right now, and they went from, in a week's, seems like a week to 2, they went from like this tall to like this. Those chicks get big fast. And we have a special needs chicken. One of them has I forget what they call it. It has like a curved. It has a curve in her beak, so her beak isn't like straight. It's like a little bit like that. So I don't know. Hopefully that chicken will get along. I'm also building some things for the coop. I'm building a chicken teepee, and it's for them to take a dust bath. They go under there and that's how the chickens take a shower. They kind of flap their wings in the dirt and dust, and it takes all the apparently it takes all the bugs off them. So yeah, this could be clickbait. This could, who knows? It's hard to tell what is actually true and not true these days with our news media. I don't trust them. Flight test Mighty Mini. Yeah, for sure. So we still have some we have tons of gear out there that if this really was to go down the way the Washington Post is saying it's going to do, and I don't agree with the Washington Post. I don't know. Hopefully they're not right, but we'll get along. We'll get along just fine, and we'll keep making drone videos and bringing you guys some content on the drone hobby. It's not going to stop the drone hobby. We're still going to be flying. We're still going to be discussing this as a hobby and as a community and a group. And I'll still be giving you guys suggestions on the right things to buy and invest your money into. I was telling someone the other day the biggest and the whole reason why I do this channel and the reason that I do reviews and things like that and I get to play with all this cool stuff is because when I was a kid, I was at the field and I was buying my first airplanes. These guys would tell me which one to go buy. And so I went to the hobby shop. If you've ever been to a hobby shop, look at the wall of airplanes and it's like, if you're 12, 13 years old, it's overwhelming. And you want to buy what you think looks cool, and that plane that you buy that you think that looks cool is probably a piece of shit. So it wouldn't be the plane necessarily, judging the cover on the box of the plane that I bought. It was the Avistar, I think, way back when. I bought an Avistar, and that's how I got back into flying RC. So that advice to me really saved me a lot of money because I had a plane that I loved and I used to fly religiously. I do inverted passes down the runway with the OS 40 motor. It was a little underpowered. I ended up getting a 46 and adding to it later, make it a little more powerful for aerobatics and things. And it could knife edge in a circle. It could do inverted eights. It was awesome. It could do outside loops. I mean, this is a trainer plane too, so it's pretty aerobatic. It's pretty cool. But that's what I've been trying to do on this channel for the last 10 years is give people like good insight on like what actually is worth it. Gray Hughes investigates, says, can we still fly DJI drones if the executive order is signed? You should be able to. You should be able to. As of now, there is no, and it depends on where you live, right? It depends on where you live. As of now, if you say like if you live in Florida and DeSantos is down there, if you live in Florida, you can still fly a DJI drone as a hobbyist down there. You just can't use it for police investigations or any type of government use. Great time to jump into the hobby, Loki. Oh, cool. William in S. What? At the farmer's market. That's awesome, bro. So we have 3 chickens right now, but like now we have 4 more girls, and we have a special needs chicken with a curved bill, or whatever you call it. She has like not a straight bill. It's so apparently as the chicken gets older, it gets worse, and they can't really like file their beak down. Like chickens rub their beaks on stones and stuff, and that's how they keep their beak short, because it's like fingernails. It just keeps growing. So apparently we're supposed to trim this chicken's beak. How do you hold a chicken and trim a beak? Um, but eggs are, if you're selling eggs at the farmer's market, that should be pretty lucrative. It sounds like dinner. I was joking to Mrs. Camp, so we might have to shoot it, and she was like, "No." I'm not that mean. I wouldn't. I would give it away. I wouldn't even like. I wouldn't. Kill it because it was like a freak of nature either. Um, I would just put it on Craigslist or something. Have somebody come get it. And then the problem is that it's our Easter egger, and my partner, like, she really likes the green eggs, and so it's like she wants an Easter egger. So we're gonna have a special needs chicken. And Grace, it's probably the same thing as trimming a Chihuahua's nails. Tough, yeah. It's like you had to like put the chicken in your lap and then like restrain its wings and then hold it by the head somehow. It's like a 2-person operation, I think, and then like take, I don't know if it's like giant fingernail clippers, or someone said use like an emery board to file the chicken's beak down. It sounds insane. I should do a live stream when I'm trying to do that. If you guys want something to laugh at. Then I'll probably have PETA coming after me because hey, leave me alone. My chicken is special needs, damn you. Special needs chicken. Welcome to 2025. Chicken's braces. You probably can. You can get them on Amazon. I think you can get chicken braces on Amazon. It's probably a Chinese company, though, so it'll probably be banned soon. Stock up on chicken braces. Hey, a dog called Dremel. I like that idea. I want to do it fast. I don't want to be sitting there, and I don't want to. I don't want to breathe chicken beak dust either. It's not something I want to breathe. The other day I had to clean out a drain in the shower upstairs because we have an 11-year-old who has the longest hair in the universe, and her mom has long hair. I have no hair, so shave head. And it's not my hair, it's theirs, but there was a ball that I pulled out of there like this big, and I was wearing a regulator because the whole entire drain down there is just black. It's not good. Yeah, there is definitely a lot of Karen surrounding animal content. But I do like the homesteading. I watch a lot of homesteading videos for different people doing their backyard farms and things like that. There's one guy that I follow, Lead Farmer. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. I think he's a Georgia guy, Lead Farmer, and his wife is Lady Lead, and he's funny, man. He recently bought like a tractor, a cheap tractor, hauled it up to Georgia from Florida. I think he said it was like an 8-hour drive, so he must live in like North Georgia, that area. Yeah, I would love to have a tractor. If I had a tractor, I would drive it around. Like that would be at least half my day riding around the property on a tractor. I am part redneck. I don't know, just like the idea of having a tractor to where I could just I like the idea of being able to make the property how I want to make it, and a tractor is the number one way to just kick ass on your property. Do whatever the hell you want to do, move whatever you want to move, but out in Oregon, you need to have like a permit to like trim a tree. Yeah, Joel Salatin. I used to follow Joel Salatin a lot. I saw Joel Salatin speak at Mother Earth News Fair probably like 15 years ago. Up in, I think there was one up in Maryland. Temple Grandin was also there. She's an amazing person who is who has autism, and she recreated the way that cows are led to the slaughter, kind of a more humane approach, a less stressful walk to their death. Isn't that nice? But chickens, they just get thrown up by their feet, and they get run through the razor thousands at a time. Yeah, skid steer, front loader. I would love to have a front loader. I would be out there doing all kinds of shit. I'd probably end up croaking eventually on my tractor as like an old ass man. Where it's just, no, he's out there dead on the tractor. Perfect. It's fine with me. As long as I'm outside. I hate being inside. That's why I want to do this live stream outside today. So I appreciate you guys hanging out today. It is almost 12:30 West Coast time, and it's time for me to like go take some medicine for this cold, and also try to. I don't know how much yard work I'm gonna be able to do today. I hate being sick because I like my brain has lots of things to do, and we always have lots of things to do on the YouTube channel, on the videos, and in the backyard. And I hate not being able to do physical things that I want to do. I hate that crap. I hate being sick. So let us know in the comments. Like, make a comment on this video, click like, so that it rises up in the YouTube algorithm. Because YouTube hates drone stuff, just like firearms. We're just the algorithm. Somewhere around 2022, the algorithm started not liking us, so it like pushes anything to do with FPV drones down since the Ukraine war and things like that. The algorithm is very specific about what it likes. Suppression. Yeah, Philip 3273 said they're not selling the new Mavic in the US. They probably stopped the sale of Goggles 3 for the same reason. If you go to the website and you try to click on the goggles to buy them, it says not shipping in your country, which totally sucks. And if you look on Amazon for Goggles 3, talked about this a couple weeks ago, the average price right now, it says like it says out of stock, and then if you can click on other options, the other options are like $700 from no-name companies. So do you trust paying some rando company for Goggles 3? So check this out. Some of you guys might not have seen this, but this is the DJI website in the store. There's the Goggles 3. Boom. Well, that sucks. Not available in your country. Yep. So let's go to the main store. Shop now. Let's go down to Oh, look at that. So they show it. Which one's that? Mavic. That's the Mavic 3 Pro. Where's the 4? Mini 4 Pro. And Nevada 2. Let's click on that one. I think it will let us buy a Nevada 2. Now, if you buy a Nevada 2, and I had to do this when the Goggles 3 first came out because they weren't selling the Goggles 3 outside the combo. So to be able to review stuff for you guys, I went out and bought a Nevada 2 just so I could get the goggles. You know, if you want a Nevada 2, that's a way to get the goggles. If you can still purchase the Nevada 2. But yeah, let's see, Air 3S. DJI Mavic 3 Pro. Like, it's not even showing me the Mavic 4 on the site. You see that? I'm searching all over the place for it. So years ago, it's pretty weird. I was overseas and I was in Berlin, and I met this guy who was like, we were talking about fishing, and he was saying that fishing lures, like, he was asking if I knew somebody that could buy him a bunch of fishing lures and send to him in Europe, because like if you buy them at Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops, it's a lot cheaper here than trying to buy fishing lures in, say, Germany or France. So he wanted me to buy like a shitload of fishing lures and like ship out to him. So maybe in the future we have to contact our friends in the UK and say, hey man, can you send me an 04? I need that 04, man. Gotta have the 04. Gray Hughes says, when you have it shipped to the US, they probably decline. Yeah, you would probably wouldn't be able to get it through customs. But he was talking about having me travel, like if I come back to Germany, bring the, like he had a friend go shop in the US and then bring it back through like customs or whatnot. But customs seizes stuff too, and if they know there's any kind of moratorium on certain items and they have a list of everything, I mean, and now with the capability of like an AI scanner, it identifies what the object is and it immediately tags that in the in the no-fly list. Or putting a VAT on something. So at this point, we'll have to see where we are on Wednesday. If I find out any other news from any sources, I will update you guys and let you know what's going on. We do have, you know, and again, like Washington Post, this might be propaganda. It seems pretty extreme. But I did have that like President Bush 9/11 moment when I first saw this article and started reading it again. It's like, oh God, here we go again. I'm staring off into space thinking of like, where the hell are we going in the hobby and what's happening? I mean, because the thing that's scary about Washington is with the executive orders, like entire industries can be changed overnight, right? And that doesn't even have to go through like Congress and the Senate. So, right? I appreciate that. Thank you, Gray. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. yeah, when anything comes out, I will definitely do a live stream as quick as possible. Like I was gonna do it yesterday because I was fired up when I saw the article, but I had to sleep on it and think about how to get it together. Plus, I think I was definitely sicker yesterday than I am today. Um, I don't have the energy levels that definitely I normally would, and it's not like I have to be like a cheerleader on a live stream, for this type of topic. I'm not one of those influencers, and I hate the word influencer too. It's stupid. Because you guys have your own opinions. I need to have a tall glass of water with a ton of electrolytes. Man, this virus is kicking my body's ass. Every single muscle in your body hurts when you're in this. All right, FPV Addict. Take care, brother. Sometimes import to Canada, then import to myself. Johnny D, you need a keg? Man, I felt like I needed to have a beer last night after reading this shit, but yeah, I definitely shouldn't drink beer when I'm not feeling good. But I want to. I think that'll just make me feel worse. Like alcohol, I feel like if you drink alcohol, like go out or you party and then like you get sick the next day. It does something to your immune system. It like lowers all of your immune system down to nothing when you're sleeping and then you get sick. Buying a drone now. Yeah, go do it. Run your credit card and get that order in. I mean, it's not, if you have the money laying around, it's not a terrible thing to go buy an 04 off Amazon. Or an 03. I feel like the 03s are more expensive than the 04s right now. Is that right? The congestion. Yeah, Adam says it's a poison. That's right. Alcohol is definitely a poison. Whenever I drink a beer, I'm slow poisoning myself. It's true. Sometimes I don't care. After you've been raw dogging reality for many, many years, sometimes you want a beer. Like they say, I earned my beer. I earned the right to slow poison myself today. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm not like opposed to people who smoke weed and stuff like that either. It's like, as long as it's not, you're not, you know, super hurtful to yourself. It's like everything in moderation. It's like I eat red meat, but no, I don't eat it every day, every single day. Some people do. Body aches. Oh, it's a real thing. This is how dedicated to the channel I am. I hope you guys see this. Literally fighting the cold flu and still making this live stream happen. So my mom did make us these things. Oh God, they taste terrible. It's like this like honey whiskey concoction. If I had some Crown Royal right now, I might do that. Like I think it's lemon, whiskey, and like hot tea or something like that. And then she makes this other thing called a brown bomb. It's a terrible name. A brown bomb. If you're drinking a brown bomb, you're in a bad situation. Yeah, Johnny D, man. Make sure you do a chargeback. Call your bank ASAP and tell them to do a chargeback. Yeah, get them on the phone line. Just hang in there and wait for an operator to come on and tell them you want to do a 100% chargeback. You got ripped off on the internet. That happens a lot. They get a lot of calls from people that get ripped off. So it would surprise me if they didn't do a chargeback on your car so you can get your money back. So we'll do some reviews this week. I have some cool new stuff that we're gonna show you, and we're gonna say and keep you posted on the DJI and the Chinese drone thing. You know, as it's happening, and we'll get in the backyard and we'll do a live stream in the backyard too. I'll show you some of the projects that I'm working on back there, because we got some cool stuff back there. I built a chicken palace. If you can build a drone, you can build anything. I need some Sudafed. But if you are just joining this stream, we've been talking about the possible ban of Chinese drone sales in the U.S. As relating to the Washington Post article that was released yesterday at 6 p.m. That talks about banning. It's an executive order, which is completely different from something that has to pass through the House and Senate, but companies being barred from selling new models, new Chinese models. What specifies it as a model, right? So if flight controllers are on the list, it could affect flight controllers, which would which would mean the way you would have to buy like the latest beta FPV Whoop would be to buy the frame and the motors, and that would be it. Then you'd have to find a flight controller and a video system and put on there. So that would be a total pain in the ass. Yeah, they won't have the VTX because that is considered something that emits a signal. So they wouldn't be able to sell you the VTX. Yeah, the WT FPV, that's like bring your own transmitter. So yeah, we'll have to see what President Trump does on Wednesday and see what goes through on that executive order and see how it affects us. Well, Matt Ice asked if you don't think the ban will affect WT FPV. It depends, man. It depends because some of the wording from the prior National Defense Act, the FY25, does mention things like flight controllers, anything that does emit a signal. So possibly, I wonder if flight controllers that don't have like something like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth could be imported. But again, like we'll have to see, and we'll have to also see if the Washington Post is just like, trolling us with clickbait. Because that's a pretty bold headline on that article. That was posted yesterday at 6 p.m. So if that is bullshit, I will be I had to get a subscription just to show you guys this article. They wouldn't let me scroll down and show you the article contents. What a pain in the ass. Not only is it maybe propaganda, but they also making me pay to see their propaganda. But maybe then again, maybe it's not. So we don't know until Wednesday. But there's a lot of advocacy right now against Chinese manufactured drones, and pretty much anything right now, as far as imports go from China. So we were hoping there'd be some type of deal made by now, but not yet. because both companies have play hardball when it comes to these economics. Yeah, the keyword could was what I spotted in the very first part of the stream, bro. We could lead, right? Could lead. That's the thing. Could lead. Could is a very subjective word. So, what other sources for writing an article that literally, spreads doom and gloom on an entire industry? What is their source for doing that? Like, what is the agenda behind that, right? Jeff Bezos sends his thanks. We have an Alexa, and every time I walk by it, I unplug it. The kids get pissed. They're like, "Who unplugged the Alexa?" I hate those devices. I had an Apple Watch. I don't wear that crap anymore. So if you enjoyed the stream today, you should hop on the website. We have these new hats, and we have the hats are awesome. They're embroidered. We have some black ones and we have some camo ones as well. So this is one of my camo ones, and it's good quality. It's like something. It's actually nicer quality than this black rifle hat that I have here. And these are made by like Printful, so it's like, yeah, like this one's more rougher feeling. Like I hate like a cheap trucker hat. I thought like after I wore this one for the first couple of days, I'm like, damn, this thing's kind of rough. But these are nice. I think they're $20, which is probably cheaper than most of the trucker hats in Cabela's. I think they're like $25 and $30 these days, unless you buy like the Bass Pro Shop giant trucker. I think those are like, but they make millions of those. I think they're $10-$12. But a good embroidered hat, is usually $30-$35 these days. So I think ours were like $10. But I've people have been asking me to do merch forever, and we finally did. So if you go to the Drone Camp store, scroll down, you'll see I do some kind of Black Ops style hats, and we have kind of an army green hat, so Oregon green. I had a friend that asked me to do those green ones. Those are pretty cool. I did order the two-tone one. It has a new DC logo on there, and I also had some new shirts made. Just a simple design on that tee, $19. Yeah, and the hats are $21. So that hat you just saw, that's a pretty good price for a trucker. And I have this black two-tone one, which I really like. So it's sort of a dark gray, gunmetal gray on the back. Drone Camp's embroidered logo up front. If you click this little arrow here, it goes to more colors and stuff over here. So a lot of people like these too. This is pretty cool because this is kind of like a sort of a deep brown color on the back. It's kind of a popular style right now for a lot of dudes. Camo on the front. What other drone store or drone company can you go grab a camo hat from? I'm pretty sure no drone company out there has any camo hats. But if you want to just blend into, we have those white and blue hats. I kind of like the white front trucker hats. Those are pretty nice. But we will see. we will see what happens, you guys. If you like today's stream, by all means, please do grab a hat, support the channel, grab a t-shirt. And I mean, let me know if there's something you guys would like to have, like that would that you could use around the house, merch wise, coffee cups or whatever, tumblers. They make some pretty cool stuff, and we have access to all that stuff, and it ships pretty quick. Bezos, Adam says Bezos. Damn it, he unplugged it again. You know, there's probably a way that Bezos could actually have the Alexa still powered up even after it's unplugged. I have to throw it in like a Faraday box or something to make it not listen to me as I'm talking about Cheez-Its. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. I am always concerned about the hobby and the direction of like where we're going, and just sustaining the American FPV hobby. I think is super important. Very, very important. Because it is definitely something that we really need for the future of, I mean, just the country, right? In the global state of the world, we need more FPV pilots, and we need to grow the hobby. So that's my goal. Adam says branded Faraday bags are the next merch move. Well, Adam, if you look on the channel in the videos, I recently reviewed 2 different bags from a company called Go Dark, and Go Dark makes them for your phone, and they also make laptop sleeves, and then they make like a sling for your credit cards and things like that, and your phone. And they make some larger bags. They even make some generator size bags for like the prepper type dudes. If you want to have your generator be totally EMP proof, throws in a massive EMP, or even like a sun event, like a solar event that destroyed electronics. I think back in the 1800s, this was the last one that happened. And we had a pretty big solar flare that affected a lot of GPS. When I was coming home on the plane recently, we were flying at 10,000 feet, 10,000 feet in a 737. Part of that was because it was so windy. We had to fly lower. Normally you're at 30, 40,000 feet, right? I want us an RC3, brother. I'll let the Drone Camps Army deal with you. So, you know, that was strange to fly at 10,000 feet. But we will see. We will see. But we're gonna keep covering that coming up again. Like, but I have to get going really because I am definitely feeling it. Wanted to make this live stream. All right, we put the troll. We shadow banned that troll. Nothing like a ban hammer. It's all right. He'll make a new account. Yeah, so the Go Dark bags are nice because you can throw your phone in there if you want it to be like the 1990s again and just like not be tracked for, you know, by Google and AI advertising. Like AI advertising is a real thing right now that listens to your keywords and what you talk about during the day. If you have conversations or you have the TV on and certain targeted ads are also playing to you, it picks up on those things. It's like having your bestie in your back pocket all the time, listening to, you know, whether you need diapers or dog food. So it's much faster now than it used to be with keyword filtering. Now it's like literally like having somebody in your back pocket, like listening to your conversations. It's pretty crazy. But for the advertisers, it's pretty lucrative because it's extremely real time. So a Faraday bag is nice. When you decide, like you know, technically you can't turn off your phone. So this allows you to actually just destroy all the signals that are coming in and out from your phone. So that's kind of cool. There needs to be a way where you can just disable something these days. And there's not a lot of ways to disable anything, right? If you disable your phone, your TV's still watching you or listening to you through the TV camera, things like that. There's just almost no way to avoid it these days, but it is nice to have that option. And Go Dark is that company that we got up with. We also have a cool review coming up too. I know you guys like gear, and before I hop off here real quick, I want to show you this bag that could be an awesome ruck. I don't know if some of you guys do rucking, but rucking is kind of a hobby for some people to get in shape and strength train. So this is probably one of the most awesome FPV drone bags and rucks. This company, it's hard to pronounce the name. I like their slogan, "Get out there," because I'm all about that. We used to say that when we were kiting and surfing. Just get out there, get in the ocean, and just don't be a wuss. Like, you just gotta get your brass balls going and hop in that cold water and surf. Oh, man, it's called. I heard it pronounced correctly on YouTube, but we uh, we had some emails and we talked about their different bags that they make. But there's a lot of molly on the outside, tons of compartments here, some webbing on the back for the straps, and everything is super modular on it. Huge wide strap, waist strap across the bottom, and I believe all that's removable. So if you wanted to like take all of this extra straps off here and lighten the whole thing up, take the waist strap off, they give you that option. So all the buckles and everything too, like quick access zippers, like if you wanted to conceal carry or have a truck bag, something like that, you can get to things in this bag really quickly. And they make some smaller bags too. So this is their larger one. This one was called the High Speed 2. And I'm going to try to pronounce this name. Eberly stock. God, probably destroyed that. Eberl stock. I don't know how the hell to say that. I'm gonna have to practice that. Yeah, I'm gonna try to show you guys the logo real quick. You guys should check these out because like the ones in like Cabela's, I'm not like a huge fan of Cabela quality bags. I know they have like Mystery Ranch, but you might be able to see that. Can you guys see that logo? A Burl stock. I was targeted on Facebook because I have all kinds of gear stuff that I'm always looking at. And this is sort of like the ultimate, like, you can't everyday carry this. Obviously, it's not really EDC type of thing, but I have reviewed a couple of EDC bags. One of the companies on the channel was Nutsack. Great name for men's EDC bags, but it was a cool little like I think some of them were like desert. They had some green ones and some black ones with some Somali on the outside. But this was a pretty nice large size ruck that can be used for, either military, police, or just civilian like ruck training and or camping. But very, very industrial grade, super nice quality. And I think that bag's probably, I think that one's like a couple $100. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Maka Raiders. It's Saturday. I usually don't do streams on Saturday because we're usually doing like yard work and cleaning up the property. We got tons of jobs here to work on. But that's one of the reviews that we have coming up for that. As far as like an FPV bag, something you should use for putting, like, if you were going out for the weekend, that would be like a weekender bag. Hills Have FPV says, get into radios. You mean like Baofeng radios? I've considered doing some Baofeng reviews. I do like the ham radio stuff. It's not something that I really want to sit around and communicate on, but Yeah, absolutely. I like the fact that Baofeng can also be encrypted. So one of the things that some people don't know about, like say TBS Crossfire, for example, that signal's encrypted. Yeah, and I know a lot of those channels can go really deep into like ham radio stuff, and they're not expensive. They're pretty cheap. I have some prepper type guys ask me every once in a while, like because we do a lot of frequency technology type of reviews and overviews. I know a lot about frequency, and they were asking me about Meshtastic. I did some reviews on Meshtastic devices a while back, and someone in the prepper genre was asking me about, should I set up Meshtastic for shit hit the fan scenario? And from like I guess like the like if there was a shit hit the fan situation and there was some real shit going down, you wouldn't be able to use Meshtastic. It would be blasted by adversary. Um, Meshtastic won't work if there was a real like invasion situation. Yeah, and Meshtastic, no one, you're right. He'll have FPV. No one outside, like say like Portland proper. There's a couple million people in sort of the whole area, and there's more and more people all the time. But like once you leave the big city, which if there was a shit hit the fan situation, that's what you want to do. You get out of the big city. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't rely on Meshtastic for my go-to device if shit was to hit the fan. Um, no. And I would say not lighting up a radio device is also a very smart thing to do if you're ever in a situation where there is a war happening. You don't want to turn on your radio and just start blabbing away because you're going to give off your location within about 3 seconds. You better turn it on and turn it off very quickly, or you'll become probably a pile of dust. But yeah, civilians, best thing to do is just head for the hills. Stick together, head for the hills. Red Dawn that motherfucker. But yeah, I do like Baofeng radios. You can go you That's like a whole other subject that you could spend years sort of learning about if you're interested in radio frequency. I do SDRs are pretty cool. I played around with some SDRs, software defined radios. Yeah, there's the Kraken. The Kraken can tell you. There's also a military grade Kraken which could pinpoint radio locations, triangulate signals. Kraken is an open source civilian version, and I have to tell you, I've played around with Kraken, and I don't think it works that good. Like, if it's nice that it's an option, but it's something that like it's very expensive, and if you really want to play with signal triangulation, um, Kraken does not work that great in my experiences. It's kind of hit or miss. Like I think it needs more power to work properly. Still has quite a bit of software bugs that needs to be worked out because it works, not works, works, not works, works, not works. But it's neat. I mean, it's kind of like Meshtastic. Like Meshtastic isn't like my go-to communication system for shit hit the fan, but you know, it's fun to play with, right? It's like a radio tool. It's a neat way to communicate that's sort of off grid. Yeah, off grid communication. But it can be tracked. Like some people are like, oh, people could use that for nefarious. It can be tracked. Signal interception. Yeah, Patriot First says, take the industry flying around again instead of a Chinese perpetual push on consumers. I think it would be great. Just hold on and support American, of course. Absolutely. Anything that emits a signal. It's hilarious. You have criminals doing this stuff, and then they're, flying down the interstate with their phone in the center console. We know where you are. There was a situation where someone was stealing something in a store, and the lady thought that somebody saw her stealing something, so she threw the merchandise back on the shelf before she left the store. But when she did, she threw her driver's license on the shelf with the merch. Yeah, so like the people that it's hilarious. Like people, I think they're smarter than the system. It's hard to, especially nowadays. You're on camera every single place you go. She threw her driver's license on the shelf with the item she was going to steal. I don't think she was charged. I think they just gave her her driver's license back. But she may have been banned from the store. So I will schedule a live stream. We can cover this live on Wednesday coming up, and this is when this executive order is supposed to happen. And we can kind of watch this as it unfolds on Wednesday. And I'm just praying for the best outcome for the future of the hobby, right? If it could be 100% American, that would be amazing. We're just not quite ready for that yet. William NS says she didn't actually steal anything. No, she didn't actually steal anything. She wasn't charged. But I think she was banned from the store because they saw her on camera putting something in her clothes. I was in a grocery store one time, and it was really sad because this old man in Savannah, Georgia, it was crazy. Like the cop or the security guard, somebody had him over to the side, and I saw him lift his shirt up, and I swear to God, he had like one of those like family pack size packs of ribeye steaks. It like covered the whole front of his chest. Like when he lifted his shirt, all you could see was steaks. It's sad though, because this guy was hungry. You shouldn't have to steal food in the U.S. There's a lot of hungry people out there. It is kind of hilarious, man. Like, just this dude it was like Kroger or something. And he had like literally like $125 worth of steaks. I think over a certain amount of money, they have to arrest you. So I'm pretty sure he was over that limit, made like $5 or $10 or something like that. But the guys in Home Depot were telling me the other day they had to chain up their power washers. We were about to get a new power washer, and they were saying they had to chain them up because people were just walking out with them and they can't touch them. Back in the olden days, you could put somebody in a headlock and zip tie them, but now you can't touch somebody if they walk out, like literally with a couple $1,000 piece of equipment. So Home Depot's been having a struggle, and a company like Home Depot, I'm surprised they don't have like tasers at the front door. You have like a certain amount every year that you have to write off to this shit, but now they have them all. They're all chained up together. The world's crazy out there. That's the way it goes. But yeah, what do you guys think? Should we do a live stream on Wednesday and we can kind of watch and see on the major news networks and see some of these executive orders? We can watch this unfold and see if the Washington Post is really just blowing smoke and, you know, if that's clickbait. The hills have FPV. You're right. The criminals have more rights than we do. Yeah. They get to choose when they're going to break into your house. And if you try to defend yourself with a firearm, you could be charged for shooting that person or something in certain states. But I'm pretty sure not Montana or Idaho. Oregon? Jonathan Hernandez, there's possible executive order coming down the pipe. According to the Washington Post, we don't really follow the Washington Post, but that's just the article that came out yesterday. Whoops, that's not the right one. This one. So if you're just joining us, this is about the end of the stream, but Trump orders, executive order could possibly ban Chinese drone sales in the U.S., and that would include DJI and FPV companies selling new models. And it says could. So could bar new models. So that's the big thing here. It could, but it would be new models. So current companies like Ray State Quads, Get FPV, they might be they'll be okay with all of the stock that they currently have. But going forward, after they sell out of that stuff, who knows if they're allowed to reorder or restock. How would you even know what was what before, before the ban? So that's another thing. So it's a giant shit show, but we'll follow it coming up on Wednesday, and look out for some new stuff coming out on Monday, Tuesday as well. New videos coming out. I am playing around with AI as well. AI is getting pretty powerful right now. They released this. Google released this new thing called VO, and I literally created a video in about 5 seconds time with a quick prompt, and now it does audio as well. So you can literally create like a little film. You could create an entire film that looks like something from Hollywood, like from this Google VO3. They've made it really expensive on the launch, and they only give you like so many. It's all credit, token based, so it's like 100 credits per prompt. So you couldn't possibly create, an 8-second clip with say 500 credits for the month. Like you'll be done so fast with that model. I think there's another subscription that you can get. Everything's subscription based, but even with that one, I think it's $125 a month, and then you only get like so many hundreds or thousands of credits, which each video costs you 100 to 300 credits. So the format and the cost of it's not quite effective yet for smaller YouTubers and things, but we'll be able to generate, realistic looking videos within like seconds. It's kind of crazy. So like the stuff we've been seeing with AI too. The thing about AI is like it's gonna flood YouTube with new content, but the only stuff that's gonna really stand out is the ones that are like honestly like really creative, right? Like creativity is not still going it's not going to crush creativity because it's relying on it's not just generating itself like a viral video. It has to have a person to write that prompt. And so um but YouTube channels like mine will also be okay for AI stuff for a long time to come because there's so many like an AI talking head will be just totally different than a person, right? An actual person with a real life opinion on something. And time to short Google. Yeah, the Google stock does not financial advice because I'm on YouTube and I have to say that. But the Google stock went up like leaps and bounds in the last couple of days. I forget what the call letters are. But because of that, that stock went through the roof. Oh. So we'll find out. Find out on Wednesday, you guys. I appreciate all you guys coming and hanging out again. Like, please go grab yourself a hat if you enjoyed the stream today, or a t-shirt or something to support the channel. Because we're gonna keep going. I've been doing this for 11 years, and it's just really what I wake up in the morning thinking about, and I'm not gonna stop doing that anytime soon. So, yeah, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. Yeah, Alphabet for Google, ABC or something like that. Alphabet. But thank you guys so much today, and thank you for the tips as well. That was super nice of you guys to drop tips in there. So let's see what happens. I will be here to report the news. Join us on Wednesday for that live stream. I'll try to live stream when the executive order goes through and then what the details are on that executive order. So we'll hop in there and we'll listen to what's happening in DC on Wednesday. I will try to set up that stream prior so that you know when it's going to come online and you can come join us. And then also Monday and Tuesday, you'll be able to see new videos. I appreciate you guys, but I'm gonna hop off here for now because I'm definitely feeling this virus that I have today. Going on day 5 of being sick with this cold flu thing, trying to shake it. Yeah, I hope you have a great weekend and a nice Sunday. And again, I appreciate you. Maybe next time we'll be in the backyard doing the stream in the backyard, and I'll feel a little better. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, guys. Thanks for the donations on the channel, and thanks for the likes and the comments today. I appreciate that. You guys be well. Peace, Adam. Peace, all you guys, and we'll see you. We'll see you this week, and I'll get that that live stream up so that you know when it's going to drop. Just click the notification bell so it lets you know on your phone, and then you won't miss it. What's going to happen? I don't know. We'll find out soon, but I will keep you guys up to date, and I'll see you soon. Okay.